Hello again and welcome back. Welcome to a new class, to class number 106. Okay, I simply wanted to verify. I simply wanted to check. I simply wanted to make sure that I wasn't mistaken, that in fact, this is class number 106, and in fact, it is. Class number 106, which means we are moving forward, definitely. We're not moving backward. We're moving forward. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So, the first segment, right now, we're going to take 1 step back. I'm sorry, but it's necessary. Y además, and besides, I didn't finish the list yesterday, the translation list. So quickly, let's move. Let's switch. Let's change to camera number 1. Shall we? Let's go. All right, review. Me lo estoy pasando bomba. I'm having a blast. I'm having a blast. I'm having a wonderful time. I'm having a very good time. A medida que se retiraban, volaban todos los puentes que cruzaban. As they retreated, they blew up all the bridges they crossed. They blew up at least 5 bridges crossing the different rivers in order to stop the advance of the enemy troops. As they retreated, lo importante aquí es la palabra as. La primera palabra es la más importante de todo aquí. Está bien saber to retreat, to blow up, to cross, bridge, but the most important word is as. A medida que se retiraban, conforme se retiraban, según se retiraban, as. One little word, 2 letters. As they retreated, they blew up every bridge they crossed, or they blew up all the bridges they crossed. Digamos que solo es una corazonada. Let's say it's only a hunch. Recordad hunch como lunch. Okay, sin la L y con H. Hunch. Punch, puñetazo. Lunch, almuerzo. Hunch, corazonada. All right? Yes. Let's say it's only a hunch. Tengo un extraño presentimiento. I have a strange feeling. Premonition. I have a strange feeling that tomorrow is going to be a very good day. For everyone. For you, for me, for Spain, for the world. I have a feeling that many positive things are going to happen. I don't know why, but I have a feeling. Tienes miedo de tu propia sombra. You're afraid of your own shadow. You're afraid. I'm afraid, he's afraid, she's afraid, we're afraid, they're afraid. You're afraid of your own shadow. Me gusta sentarme en la sombra y no hacer nada. I like to sit in the shade and do nothing. Do nothing. What do you like to do on Sunday afternoon? Me? Nothing. I like to do nothing. I don't like to do anything. I like to do nothing. All right. Lo puedes hacer o de esta manera o de esta otra manera. You can do it either this way or this other way. Yes. You can order it either black or white. If you want a car, we only have black cars and white cars. You choose. You can drive either a black car or a white car. Either or. También se dice either or. Both pronunciations, either, are perfect. Ambos se apuntaron al curso. They both signed up for the course. They both signed up for the course. They both signed up. Both of them is an alternative. Both of them signed up for the course. They both signed up for the course. Signed up. La D que finaliza. Signed realmente se une a la palabra up más que a su palabra, a la palabra sign. Signed up. Signed up. Findus. Signed up. Toldo. Signed up. Yes, they both signed up for the course. Okay? Ninguno de los dos firmaron el acuerdo, o firmó el acuerdo, sería mejor. Neither of them signed the agreement. O los británicos, muchos dirían, neither of them signed the agreement. Neither of them, or neither of them, signed the agreement. They didn't agree with the terms of the agreement, so they didn't sign the agreement. Neither of them, neither Pepe nor Pablo. Okay? Este acuerdo es vinculante. This agreement is binding. 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 Binding también es atadura, a binding. To bind is atar o encuadernar. Okay? A binder es un cuaderno. A ring binder es un cuaderno de anillas. Okay? A heat binder is encuadernación por proceso térmico. Heat binder. Okay? Now, to bind. To bind. Okay? Binding es vinculante, o sea, que te ata. Es un acuerdo que lo firmas, te ata. O sea, es vinculante. Lazos. It's binding. Okay? So this agreement is binding. Estoy en un aprieto. I'm in a bind. La misma palabra. Estoy en una atadura. O sea, estoy atado de manos y pies. Estoy en un aprieto y no sé cómo salir. I'm in a bind. I'm in a bind. Yes. I need to find a solution and I don't know how. I'm in a bind. We also say, I'm in a pinch. I'm in a pinch, estoy en un aprieto. Similar en español, pues to pinch es pellizcar. Es como si estuviera metido entre el pellizco aquí y no puedo salir. I'm in a pinch. I'm in a bind. Okay? And finally, ¿me puedes encuadernar estas páginas? Can you bind these pages? You see this book, the binding system, it's a spiral. Can you see it? It's a spiral binding system, which I like. For books that you need to use constantly, I prefer this type to the heat binding system, all right, or to other systems of binding, other methods. I like this. And it also has a hardback that you can put in your library or in your bookcase, and you can see it. So it's a good system, a binding system. Okay, to bind, all right? To bind the pages. Now, have you ever been in a bind? Sometimes I've been in a bind. I'm in a bind now. I have to finish. And I only have 30 seconds left. And I'm in a bind because I don't know what to do to fill the next 30 seconds. I'm in a pinch. Maybe you can help me out. Maybe you can give me a hand because I'm in a bind. I don't know how to finish this program, this segment. I don't know how to finish it. I'm in a pinch. I'm in a bind. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Hello everyone, I'm Natasha, your teacher, and today I'm here with Marina, a student that studies a lot. Isn't that true, Marina?
Yes, I study a lot.
Very good. How are you today?
Very well. I'm very happy, or really happy to be here.
I'm happy to hear you're happy, okay? Did you study a lot for today's class?
Oh, yes.
Okay, very good. Do you know we have a lot of things to do?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. We have a lot to do because we have to review everything you saw in the previous class, which is a lot, okay? We have to review on doing and whilst doing, and we also have to review a translation list, okay? So we're going to start straight away, okay? We're going to get to the point, okay? All right, let's start with the first point, okay? Remember, on doing, okay? So for example, al hacer, and whilst doing, mientras hacía, okay? We're going to practice this through a translation list. I'll say it in Spanish, and you and Marina have to say it in English. Are you ready?
Yes,
okay.
I am.
Al salir de la oficina, me caí.
On leaving the office, I fell over.
Okay, I fell over or?
I fell down.
Down, very good, okay? Either way, okay? On leaving the office, I fell over or I fell down, okay? All right, the next one is for you at home, okay? Escuché la noticia mientras conducía al trabajo. Very good. I heard the news whilst driving to work. I heard the news whilst driving to work, okay? Remember that with whilst, we don't have to put the subject and the verb again, okay? We don't have to say whilst I was. We just say whilst driving to work, okay? The next one is for Marina. You ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Conocí a mi mujer mientras esperaba el autobús.
I met my wife My wife.
Only one wife.
My wife. Whilst waiting for the bus.
Very good. One more time.
All right. I met my wife whilst waiting for the bus.
Very, very good. I met my wife whilst waiting for the bus. Okay, the next one is for you at home. Al llegar a la oficina, se quitó la chaqueta. Very good. On arriving at the office, he took off his jacket. On arriving at the office, he took off his jacket. Okay? The next one is for Marina. You ready?
Yes.
Al leer el informe, se me ocurrió la solución.
On reading the report, I came out with a solution.
Another preposition.
All right.
¿Cómo es ocurrir?
Okay.
Se me ocurrió to come up with a solution. Okay, very good.
On reading the report, I came up with a solution.
Very, very good. You're almost there, okay? Phrasal verbs are tricky, okay? To come up with a solution is que se te ocurra, okay? I came up with an idea. Se me ocurrió una idea, okay? So because this is tricky, you repeat it at home. I'll repeat in Spanish, okay? Al leer el informe, se me ocurrió la solución. Very good. On reading the report, I came up with the solution. Okay, very, very good. Now we're going to move on to the translation list you did in the previous class, okay? So as always, I'm going to say it in Spanish and you and Marina in English. Are you ready?
Yes,
okay, first sentence for Marina. Me lo estoy pasando bomba.
I'm having a blast.
Very good. I'm having a blast, okay? Or
I'm having a ball.
very good. I'm having a ball. Either one. I'm having a blast or I'm having a ball, okay? All right, the next one is for you at home, okay? Tengo un extraño presentimiento. Very good. I have a strange feeling. I have a strange feeling, okay? It's like sentimiento more that we say, okay? I have a strange feeling, okay? Do you have a strange feeling about this class?
No.
No.
Not at all.
Okay, the next one is for you, okay? Tienes miedo a tu propia sombra.
You.
Yep.
Oh, you are afraid of your own shadow.
Very good, very, very good. You're afraid of your own shadow, okay? But the next one is for Marina because it's tricky, okay? Me gusta sentarme en la sombra y no hacer nada.
I like to sit in the shade and do nothing.
Very, very good. I'm very proud of Marina, okay? So, tienes miedo de tu propia sombra, okay? Because it's the shade or whatever of a... Es la sombra de un cuerpo, digamos, muy definido. Is shadow, okay? But shade es una zona, okay? Como the shade of a tree, for example, okay? So let's get Marina to translate one more time, okay? ¿Tienes miedo a tu propia sombra?
You are afraid of your own shadow.
Very good. Me gusta sentarme en la sombra y no hacer nada.
I like sitting in the shade and do nothing.
Very good. I like to sit or I like sitting. Either one, okay? The next one is for you at home, okay? Ambos se apuntaron al curso. Very good. They both signed up for the course. They both signed up for the course. Apuntarse, to sign up for something, okay? The next one is for Marina. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Este acuerdo es vinculante.
This agreement is binding.
Very, very good. This agreement is binding, okay? Very, very good. Estoy en un aprieto.
I'm in a bind.
Very good, era muy
I'm in a
parecida.
bind.
I'm in a bind, okay? Bind también puede ser encuadernar algo, to bind something, okay? All right, thank you very much, Marina. Okay, you did a great job. And you at home, remember to study, to practice, and to review everything for the next class. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Okay, I'm going to spend the next 8 minutes or 9 minutes talking about prior to. Interesting. Prior to is important. I don't use it very often, but it's used a lot. Yeah, it's a little bit more formal. And it simply means before. It's an alternative before. Let's practice prior to, but on camera number 1. So, shall we change? ¿Cambiamos? Shall we change? ¿Cambiamos o no? Shall we change or not? Okay, good. Let's change. All right. Before coming to Spain, I lived in Dallas, Texas. Prior to coming to Spain, prioridad, de ahí viene la palabra prioridad, de prior. Prior to means con prioridad, with priority of. Prior to coming to Spain, I lived in Dallas. Prior to living in Dallas, I lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yes. Prior to living in Oklahoma, I lived in Houston, Texas. Prior to living in Houston, I lived in New York City, in Queens, for 10 months. Prior to living in Queens, I lived in Houston. I was born in Houston, but for a period of 10 months, my father was transferred by his company to New York City for a 10-month training course. Wow, that's important. So his company places a lot of importance on training to uproot, desarraigar, the entire family and go to New York City and live for 10 months is very costly for the company. But that apparently my father was important enough for that organization when he was probably 30 years old or 31. I was 2. Let's see. I was born in 1951. My father was born in 1923. So I was born in November. My father was born in July. So my father was 28. My father was 28 when I was born. Okay, 28. Now, we went to New York while I was 2 years old. So he was either 30 or 31. I turned 3. I celebrated, or I had my 3rd birthday in New York City. So probably my father was 31, basically, most of the time when he was in New York for that 10-month training course. But prior to that, he had lived in Houston. Okay, now. Then I came to Spain, and now I live in Madrid, and I teach English. Now, prior to starting my own company, I worked as a freelance teacher or in different language schools. Now, prior to coming to Spain and becoming a teacher, I spent 1 year and 1 summer in Austin, Texas, finishing my degree. I have a degree from the University of Texas, and prior to coming to Spain, permanently, before coming, it's the same. Prior to coming to Spain, I did my degree. I finished my degree. The last year and an extra summer to finish some extra credits I needed to complete, to finish my studies. So prior to coming to Spain definitively, I finished my degree in Austin, Texas, a city which is the capital of Texas, and the home of the University of Texas, la sede. We say el hogar, la casa, the home. Home significa hogar, casa o también sede. The home office is la oficina central o la sede de una compañía, the home office. So I spent a year and a summer, an academic year and 1 summer in Austin, Texas, to finish my degree. Now, prior to doing that final year, I spent a year in Spain. My 3rd year of the university, my next last year was spent in the Complutense in Madrid. Okay? Now, prior to that, I lived in Dallas, Texas for 2 years at the University of Texas campus in Dallas. Prior to that, I was in high school. High school is secondary school. High school. Prior to studying in high school, I studied in junior high school. High school was the last 3 years. Junior high were the 3 years prior to the last 3 years, which is year 7, 8, and 9. And high school is year 10, 11, and 12. Now, prior to studying junior high school, I was in elementary school, primary school. But in the States, we usually say elementary school. In Britain, primary, okay? And prior to that, I was in kindergarten, my 1st year in school. I went to school when I was 5. And prior to that, I didn't go to school. My first experience with school was when I was 5 years old. Before that, I didn't go to preschool. I didn't go to nursery school. I didn't go to a day care center. I was at home with my mother. Okay? So I was brought up by my mother and my father before I went to school at the age of 5. And prior to that, I don't know what I was, okay, in my previous life. Okay, now, I teach now on Aprende Inglés TV, but prior to coming here, I was teaching on the radio. I still teach on the radio today, but prior to coming to teach on TV, I had already gained experience on a different media platform, in this case, the radio. Now, prior to teaching on the radio, I simply was a regular teacher in addition to a manager in this company, okay? And prior to that, well, as I said, many years ago, I was a freelance teacher and the head of studies or the teacher director in some schools. So I have a lot of experience, okay? Napoleon Bonaparte. Do you remember Napoleon? Napoleon, yes. He invaded a lot of countries, yes. His final invasion, really, was Russia in 1812. In 1812, he invaded Russia. He crossed the border from Poland into Russia and penetrated all the way to Moscow. And he took Moscow, okay? And then he couldn't do anything in Moscow because the city was abandoned and the city was burned by insurgents, so he left. But prior to invading Russia, he had already invaded Spain. Yeah, he came to Spain to help, not to invade. But finally he decided to transform his help into a full blast invasion, okay? But prior to invading Spain, he had already invaded Germany and Austria, okay? Now, prior to invading Germany and Austria, he had Germany didn't exist. Prussia, Brandenburg, Pomerania, all of the countries that conform Germany today. Yeah, prior to that, he invaded Italy. Yeah, and prior to invading Italy, he had invaded Egypt. Okay, so prior to is before, and it's also followed by the gerund, okay? All right. Our sponsors have a few words, and then I'll be back. All right. You know, I came here almost 3 hours ago, to start the beginner's class. But prior to coming here, I had lunch. Yeah, prior to having lunch, or before having lunch, es lo mismo. Recomiendo before, pero se oye muchas veces prior to. Especially in formal circles. You hear it a lot. Scientific language, political language, economic language. It's very common to hear prior to. Prior to having lunch, I had a meeting in the center of Madrid. Yeah. It lasted 2 hours. Prior to that meeting, I had a radio show that started at 7:30 in the morning and ended at 10:30. So I spent 3 hours. And prior to that, I didn't do anything this morning except get up and go. So that's about it for today. Okay, I'll take a break now for another teacher, and then I'll be back.
Hi everybody, it's Hannah. I'm here with you again to practice your English, so I hope you're ready. But first, let's say hello to my student David. Hi David.
Hello, how are you?
Great, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, are you ready for today's class?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, great. That's what I like to hear, that my student's ready to go. Okay, we're going to look at an expression today, prior to. Prior to, dos palabras aquí, prior to. Now remember, prior to is the same as before. Okay? But it's a little bit more formal, un pelín más formal. And we use it especially when we talk about un evento, like an important event, okay? Or in more formal occasions or formal contexts. So I'm going to give David and you at home 2 sentences, and I want you to connect the 2 sentences using prior to, okay? For example, I lived in Los Angeles and then I moved to Madrid.
I lived in Los Angeles prior to moving to Madrid.
Perfect. Así. Okay, repeat again. Great.
I lived in Los Angeles prior to moving to Madrid.
Perfect. Fantastic. Great. Now, ojo aquí, be very careful. Let me repeat the sentence and notice the verb, o sea, cómo es el verbo after prior to. Okay? So, David said, I lived in Los Angeles prior to moving to Madrid. So, moving, it must be, debe de ser, it must be a gerund, okay, en forma de gerundio. So, prior to más gerundio, prior to plus gerund. Okay, another example. He used to travel a lot, and then he had kids.
He used to travel a lot prior to having kids.
Great, perfect, great. Let me repeat. He used to travel a lot prior to, ¿qué? Gerundio, prior to having kids. So be careful, ojo aquí, be careful not to say prior to have. Prior to have? No, prior to having kids. Another example. Okay, she worked at a large company and then started her own business.
She worked at a large company prior to starting her own business.
Okay, fantastic, great. Okay, let me repeat. She worked at a large company prior to, again, prior to starting her own business. Okay, now, also let's repeat the pronunciation of prior to. Prior. Hay que abrir la boca. You have to open your mouth pretty big. Okay, so prior to. Prior to. Let me hear you, David, say prior to.
Prior to.
Okay, good, again.
Prior to.
Okay, again.
Prior to.
Perfect. Great. I like to make my students repeat again and again and again. They almost sound like parrots sometimes. Okay. Okay, another example.
Okay.
They revised the contract and then they closed the deal.
They revised the contract prior to closing the deal.
Perfect. Okay, great, good. So they revised the contract prior to closing the deal. Prior to closing the deal. Okay, the company bought the property and then it constructed the stadium.
The company bought.
Yes, bought.
Sorry, could you repeat,
Yes,
please?
I'll repeat, of course. It's a little bit long. The sentence is a little long. Okay, the company bought the property and then it constructed the stadium.
The company bought the property prior to constructing the stadium.
Okay, good. Prior to constructing, repeat.
The company bought the property prior to constructing the stadium.
Okay, good. Prior to constructing the stadium. Just repeat that last part.
Yes, prior to constructing the stadium.
Okay, again.
Prior to constructing the stadium.
Okay, good. Constructing.
Constructing.
Eso es así. Okay, perfect. Así. So let me repeat the sentence. The company bought the property prior to constructing the stadium. Okay. I prepared the documents and then I attended the meeting.
I prepared the documents prior.
Okay, repeat. Documents.
I prepared the documents
Eso es.
prior to attending the meeting.
Okay, great. Muy bien. Okay, repeat the sentence again. Again, otra vez, otra vez.
I prepared the documents prior to attending the meeting.
Okay, muy bien. So, documentos, the pronunciation, documents. Okay, la C-U ahí sounds like you're saying the letter Q, la letra Q, okay? Documents. So let me repeat the sentence again. I prepared the documents prior to attending the meeting. Okay. She spoke to her clients and then she left the company.
She spoke to her clients prior to leaving the company.
Okay, fantastic, great. She spoke to her clients prior to leaving the company. Okay, great. We remodeled the house and then we sold it.
We remodeled the house prior to selling it.
Okay, good. Repeat again. Fantastic. Great.
We remodeled.
Remodeled.
We remodeled.
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 Yes, I see.
We remodeled the house prior to selling it.
Okay, great. So remember, I want you to repeat the pronunciation and these sentences as many times as necessary until they're perfect, until they sound just like David's sentences or just like mine. So please repeat them as many times as necessary. For example, the sentence. So, we remodeled the house prior to selling it. Okay, repeat the sentence again.
We remodeled the house prior to selling it.
Okay, great. Very good. Fantastic. So again, David, I made David repeat this sentence 3, 4, 5 times, okay? So at home, I'm going to make you do the same. Repeat the sentences as many times as necessary until they're perfect, absolutely perfect. He traveled around the world and then he settled down.
He traveled around the world prior to settling down.
Okay, good, great. Okay, casi. Okay, let's hear it again. Settling down. Repeat the sentence.
He traveled around the world prior to settling down.
Okay, great. So what does the verb to settle down mean in Spanish?
Establecerse.
Exactly. So establecerse or sentar la cabeza, right? So he traveled around the world before or prior to settling down. So remember, prior to is synonymous. It's exactly the same as before. So as I said before, in the sentence, he traveled around before settling down, or as we practiced in this segment, he traveled around the world prior to settling down. But just remember, prior to plus gerund, gerundio, okay? So please keep practicing this, and I'll see you next time here. Bye-bye.
Okay. I'm going to teach until. Until. That's easy. Until. Ándale. Eso es un nivel avanzado. Este curso es para avanzados. Este tío está enseñando until. Okay. Yeah. But there's a reason. It's because you often make mistakes with until in your conjugation of the verbs before and after, but usually after until. So let's look at until on camera number 1. What's interesting is in Spanish you say, hasta que María venga, no pienso hacer nada. Until Maria comes. Okay? I'm not planning to do anything. I don't want to start. Que ni voy a empezar esta clase hasta que María venga. Hasta que María venga o hasta que María no venga. Both are correct. You tell me which is better Spanish. I think hasta que María venga, no pienso hacer nada. Until Maria comes, but you also say hasta que María no venga, aquí no hago nada. All right? So it's strange that the negative and the affirmative are both correct. Okay, now in English, no, only the affirmative. Hasta que María venga. Until Maria comes, I have no intentions of doing anything. I will simply wait. I refuse to teach if Maria is not here with me, because I need her moral support and her technical support. Yeah. So until she comes, we simply have to wait. Jorge wants me to start, Sebe wants me to start, but I'm not going to until Maria comes. No voy a hacerlo hasta que no venga. Es curioso, en español muchas veces decís hasta que no venga María. Hasta que venga María. All right? Until Maria comes. En español utilizáis el subjuntivo. Hasta que ella venga, no pienso hacer nada. En inglés, hasta que ella viene. Sounds strange in Spanish, but not in English. Until Maria comes, ahí está vuestro error. Porque estáis pensando muchas veces en español y tropezáis con venga y no sabéis salir de ello y normalmente lo hacéis con el futuro. Hasta que no vendrá. And it's horrible in English. Until Maria will come. No, until Maria comes, I don't intend to teach a single minute of class. Ni un solo minuto. I don't intend to teach a single minute of class until Maria comes. When she comes, I'll start. But until she comes, no way. Okay? And also, I need a coffee. I ordered a coffee, and Ines brings the coffee. So until Ines brings me a coffee, I'm not going to start this class. All right. I'm not going to start this class until she brings me a coffee. And if she doesn't, I won't start. But until she brings me a coffee, I don't plan to start. And then I have to drink it. Okay? So I'm not going to start until I finish drinking the coffee. I'm not going to drink a coffee while I'm teaching on television. Sometimes I take sips of water, but I don't spend the entire 8 minutes drinking a coffee and teaching English at the same time. I do it on the radio, but I don't do it until on TV. TV's more formal, it's stiffer, less spontaneous than the radio, less intimate than the radio. I prefer radio. But until Ines brings the coffee and until I drink it, nothing happens in this television studio. Nothing happens, okay? Now, and then Jorge gives the okay. Technical area ready, all systems go, until, and hasta que eso no pase. Me suena raro, hasta que eso pase. I don't know which is more correct in Spanish. In English, hasta que eso pase. Until that happens, Maria does nothing. Maria is simply una mandada hasta ese momento. She's waiting with her headphone, earphone, and mouthpiece, waiting to start to go into action. And until Jorge gives the order, all systems go, Maria does nothing. Until that happens, until she hears, all systems go, she doesn't raise her hand. When she raises her hand, I know I need to get serious and look at the camera and be a person, to be a teacher, and stop goofing off. Goofing off es hacer el ganso, okay? Goof, como Goofy de Disney, to goof off. Quitas la Y de goofy y tienes goof, y luego off con doble F es hacer el ganso. So I can't goof off. When Maria raises her hand, I have to stop goofing off. All right, and then I have to be serious and be a teacher. But until she raises her hand, I sing songs, I put my feet on the table, okay? I scratch my chin, I do anything, all right? I stretch and I yawn. And she raises her hand, I'm ready, okay? So, but until she raises, fijaos, tercera persona singular, indicativo, no subjuntivo. Hasta que no levante, hasta que levante o hasta que no levante. What do you say in Spanish? Hasta que María no levante la mano, yo no hago nada. Hasta que levante la mano? Interesting question. You can give me an answer about your language, okay? But until Maria raises her hand, I goof off. When she raises her hand, cuando levante, con when también usamos el indicativo. Cuando levanta la mano, no cuando levante, y cuando levante la mano, ya sé, okay? When she raises her hand, I have to be serious. But I don't have to start talking yet. I don't have to start saying, hello, welcome again to a new class number 106. I don't need to do that until she lowers her hand. Until she raises her hand, I can goof off. But when she raises her hand, I need to be serious. But I don't need to talk or say anything until she lowers her hand. And when she lowers her hand, boom, I have to talk for 8 straight minutes and be interesting and stimulating and motivational for you, improvising on certain little instructions that the Vaughan method. You see, the Vaughan method doesn't help the teacher very much. The Vaughan method is designed to leave the teacher to his or her own devices, but with good training initially. And so the teacher needs to fill in the blanks, rellenar los espacios en blanco, with imagination and dynamics. So it produces a wonderful teacher, a very good teacher, okay? But now I have to go. But when I'm teaching, I know I still have a lot of time. But until Maria gets up, you see, she's usually sitting down, but until she stands up or gets up, I know that I have plenty of time, que me sobra tiempo, that I have plenty of time to do things. But when she gets up, then I know I have about 1 minute and 15 seconds. And until she does this, hasta que ella haga o no haga esto, Then I know I only have a minute left. And finally, until she puts her hands like this, I don't need to worry about finishing, but now I need to finish. I'll pass you to another teacher, and then I'll be back.
All right, and welcome to Vaughan Inglés 4.0. My name is... Ahí está, Alberto Alonso. Ya cuando se... allí. Yeah, okay. There's my name, Alberto Alonso. But ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to my student. He is doing a wonderful job, and he's been improving tremendously. And I think so too. Even from the first time I spoke to him to today, I've noticed an improvement. We're going to ask him what his secret is. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome David Little Pine. Pinilla. Hello, David Little Pine. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Great. Now, what's your secret? You got to tell the people at home what advice or tips, right? Consejos, we say tips or pointers. What tips or pointers can you give them to improve their English?
Okay, a lot of things. I watch a lot of movies. I watch TV a lot.
Okay.
TV series, TV shows in English.
Right.
Always. And I studied. I study and I attend classes. And I have some English, Australian, and American friends.
That's a good idea too.
Yes.
Get some giddy friends.
Yes.
Get some Anglo friends, right? And then you have so many options. We got Vaughan Inglés 4.0, Vaughan Radio, right? We have Vaughan Classroom.
Yes.
Have you heard of Vaughan Classroom?
No, I haven't.
Every 15 days you get an email. It's free.
Yes. I've got.
It comes with audio free.
Yeah.
VaughanClassroom.com. So there are so many ways. I have students who say, Alberto, I don't have time. I don't have the resources. You know what I said? How do you say no pongas excusas?
Don't make excuses.
Eso es un amigo falso, because we don't say don't put excuses. We say don't make excuses, because you have time and resources are everywhere.
Yes.
So
it's true.
even if you take 20 minutes a day, it's not a lot. 20 minutes a day, it's better than zero a day, right? So the idea is to practice and frequently, right? Like a piano. I always say the piano. If you practice it once a week, okay, you'll improve. If you practice it 3 times a week, you're going to improve faster. If you practice it every day, you could become a great pianist, right? Okay, well, let's take a look. Ask me what we're going to start with today.
What are we going to start with today?
Okay, well, we're going to start with some vocabulary.
Okay.
Okay, so let's take a look. How do you say in English, volverse loco?
To go crazy.
To go crazy. How do you say ayer porque es irregular? Ayer me volví loco.
Yesterday I went crazy.
Okay? Y últimamente me he vuelto loco.
Lately I've gone crazy.
Muy bien, okay? Go, went, gone. To go crazy. Ahora, esto es perder la cabeza, right? To go crazy. Can this be a positive thing too? Yes.
I don't know, a positive?
Yeah, it could be a positive. For example, when the group came on stage,
Yes.
the crowd went crazy.
Okay.
Okay, so in context, it can be, yes, como la palabra crazy. People tell me, Alberto, you're crazy. Yeah, I'm not crazy because I belong in a mental institution. I'm crazy because I'm not, you see, so there are different levels.
Yeah.
So you say, oh, they went crazy when the group came on stage. That can be a positive thing. You know, they gave a lot of energy. Okay? All right, how do you say alguien que engaña?
A cheater.
A cheater, right, a cheater, right? And this is also, poner los cuernos is to cheat, right? To cheat on someone, right? Okay, so she cheated on him, he cheated on her. Se pusieron los cuernos. To put the horns in English no significa nada, right? To cheat on someone, right? Now, let me ask you this. There's another word that comes from this. Siempre es bueno mirar una palabra y darle vueltas. Okay, there's another word that comes from this. We say cheat. Have you heard the word cheat sheet?
No.
You call it chuleta in Spanish.
Okay.
When you're in class and you have
cheat
your cheat sheet,
Yeah.
hoja de engaño. So to cheat es engañar o poner los cuernos. And the person who does it is a cheater.
A cheater.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, there's a program on it in the United States. It's very funny. People who suspect that someone is cheating on them, they write a letter to the program. The program has these investigators, and they film and they get the proof, or yes, and they tell them yes or no, here's your proof.
Wow.
And then they go and they film, they consult the person, they say, okay, there you are. Oh, it's crazy. You should check it out online. Cheaters.
Okay, I'll do it.
Crazy. Vamos a hablar de reality. Okay, how do you say desafío or reto?
A challenge.
A challenge. Do you like challenges?
Yes, I love challenges.
Challenges. Acuérdate muy bien la pronunciación. Challenge, uno. Pero el momento que pongamos la S, challenges. Ahora ya es dos. Right. Challenge, dos sílabas. Challenges. Right. Lo mismo. How do you say melocotón?
Pitch.
Ah, eso es. Te ayuda un poquito. Pitch. ¿Dos melocotones?
To pitch. To pitches.
Ah, ¿ves? Entonces tenemos que añadir esa sílaba.
Okay.
Cuando la palabra acaba con CH
Ajá.
o SH o una S. Place es sitio. ¿Dos sitios?
Two places.
¿Ves? Tenemos que añadir esta sílaba de extra. Okay, syllable. The syllable, the E. Places. Watch.
Two
Watches.
watches.
Right, exactly. Okay, let's see. How do you say atar cabos sueltos?
To tie loose ends.
To tie loose ends. Ahora también en los Estados Unidos a veces ponemos una up ahí. To tie up. Right? To tie up loose ends. All right. When is an example of times when we have to tie up loose ends?
I don't know, when you are doing too many things and things are out of control.
Sure. Yeah. Or if maybe you're going on vacation.
Yes.
Right, and you're at work, you have to say, oh, I have to tie up some loose ends before my vacation because you don't want to come back. Or if you're moving to a different city. Oh, I have to tie up loose ends before I move to the other city. Okay, and the last one, how do you say algo que está pasado de moda?
Out of fashion.
Out of fashion? Sure, that's one way. We say out of fashion. Is there another way?
I don't know.
Out of style.
Okay.
Okay,
Out of
this
style.
is in style. Hay una revista que se llama In Style, que significa de moda.
Okay.
So we can say out of fashion or out of style, right? Like my grandparents. they're a little bit out of fashion, a little bit out of style. Hey, it's okay. They come from a different time.
Yes.
I know my grandmother, every time I come with ripped jeans,
Yes.
los vaqueros con agujeros, she's like, how can you go in the street like that? Oh, come. She goes, that's the style? Ah, the poor people wear those. Right? They don't understand. It's
they don't
very
know.
normal today, right? Okay, well, I wanted to look at very quickly as well, hasta. Hasta, right? Now, hasta, how do you say hasta in English?
Until.
Until.
Or
I have to work until 6 o'clock. And what's another way? I saw you have another way.
Up to.
Up to. Eso es, muy bien. So we say up to, cuando hablamos de un periodo de tiempo. I'll be in the office up to 7 o'clock, right? Te voy a dar un poquito de, I'll give you a few translations, okay? Tienes hasta 5 semanas para terminarlo.
You have up to 5 weeks to finish it.
Okay, you have up to 5 weeks to finish it. Okay, no sabremos hasta las 3.
No, saldremos.
No sabremos.
We won't know up to 3.
Okay, up till 3 o'clock
Up
or
to-
until. We
until
can say
3.
both. Okay, up to or until. Okay, let's try one more. Tenemos que esperar hasta 2 meses.
We have to wait until 2 months.
Okay, until 2 months or
Up to months.
up to 2 months. Right?
Up
Okay,
to
un
2 months.
Un tú es el tú, right? Y el otro es el
Up
tú
to
del
2
número. Okay, good work. We'll keep practicing. We'll
Okay.
see you next time. Wait.
Okay, congratulations on finishing another class. Congratulations on finishing. No me digáis congratulations for, eh? Congratulations on finishing another class. Class number 106. Okay, so we're definitely making progress. We are definitely moving forward. We're definitely doing many important things. We're definitely learning or assimilating or consolidating expressions. We're definitely improving our ear. And we are definitely getting used to hearing the language used dynamically by many different voices, myself and 9 other native speakers from different countries around the English-speaking world. Definitely means sin duda, no significa definitivamente. We're definitely making progress. Sin duda estamos progresando, eso sí. Yes, I'm enjoying it, and I hope you're enjoying it. Because if you are enjoying this program, you will improve. You'll see. See you tomorrow.